Everybody,
Welcome
welcome back to another Primetime Sports Podcast. We're here. Got Ryan back. Welcome back, Ryan.
Thank you very much. It's good. It's good to be back. It's good to
Yeah,
be back.
listen, we got a lot of fun things to talk about today. We're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna do player rankings to start for the NBA. As you know, the season kicked off. We're about 15 games in. So we're gonna do rankings for each position. We'll go through point guard, the center. And we'll take into account last season too. We're not just going to judge off this year.
It's early. It's early into the season.
It's early, so we can't completely judge off this year. But let's get it started. All right, so let's get it cooking with point guard. Okay, we'll start off there. So
we'll start off with the guards.
So right now, who do you feel? We'll start with this. Who do you think is the best point guard in basketball, taking into account this season and last year?
I mean, my answer is not going to change. I mean, I said it in one of the other episodes. I mean, if we're considering a point guard, which I think a lot of people do at this point, it's got to be Luka. It's got to be Luka. The way this guy just casually averages almost a triple-double a game is just absurd. So, right now, I mean, last season you already know what he did. His numbers were off the charts. He was second in MVP voting. Some say he should have been first. This season he's averaging 28, with 7 and 7. I mean, as a point guard averaging, he's number one in rebounds. He's up there in assists. So I mean, just for me, I don't.
I agree with you for the most part. I think Shea is really close though. My only problem with Luka, and it's kind of a big problem, is his defense. It's not even like he's just not a good defender. He's actually a liability on defense, where he gets I think a few nights ago, I think it was versus the Jazz. He literally they're playing defense. Jazz were holding the ball, waiting. The game was close. I think it might have been tied, or they were down one or something. Luka literally stood there, let his guy drive around them, go to the basket and score, literally wide open.
I mean, it's definitely an issue. I think he definitely has bright spots on defense. I think he definitely has possessions. I mean, last playoffs, I think he dug down deep and held his own. But it's definitely that's definitely his weakness in his whole game.
I'm gonna lean. Like I said, I think we can put Luka 1 because I think Luka is this. It's like 6'7", right? He has great size for a point guard. I mean, passing's great. He's an amazing scorer. So yeah, I feel like putting Luka 1 is nothing to really argue with.
All right.
And I feel like if we're putting Luka 1, I think you gotta lean Shea at 2.
Yeah, towards Shea at 2.
I mean, Shea's putting up pretty similar numbers to Luka.
I mean, close. He's averaging a little more points, like 0.6, but his assists and rebounds are below what Luka's is. But I'm good with Shea too.
I think I like Shea too, because not only is he averaging 5 boards, 6 assists, close to 2 steals. He's also averaging 1.1 blocks per game, but he does everything on offense, and defensively he's great. He's a great defender. I mean, he's averaging 2.8 stocks per game, with his steals and blocks. And he was last year. He was in MVP voting. I think he was top 3. I feel like he's just such a great player, and the fact that I feel like if we were thinking about putting him at 1, baby, I think he's pretty much kind of like a lock for 2. Yeah, a lock for 2
for sure.
Now 3. This is when things
get interesting.
This is when things get interesting. Like we said, we're going off this year and last year, so a lot to look at here. There's a lot of options. Obviously, you got Steph Curry, arguably the greatest point guard of all time. You got Jalen Brunson. Do you even put Kyrie in that category?
Yeah, Kyrie's a sleeper. I mean, he's like the backup, but he's still
an all-star.
Hall of Famer.
He is all.
Some people are saying he's in his prime this year, the way he's been playing. I mean, he's averaging 24 on 50.
How old is Kyrie?
I don't know his age, but dude, he's shooting 55% from the field, 54% from 3.
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's 32, but that's the thing about Kyrie.
He's in the 50-50-85 club right now. That's a club to be in.
Yeah, no, he's
for his age.
He's still amazing. I mean, he's definitely in that conversation. So I think I know who I'm gonna have at 3. Who I just want to hear.
I
who
mean,
you think.
I know who you're leaning towards, and it's not a bad option. You're probably leaning towards Brunson.
Yeah.
I like Brunson.
I think I love Brunson so much because we don't really see a guy at that size with that sort of play style. Like it's kind of like he's
Yeah.
he's such a scrappy guard where he's this season from 3 he's shooting 37%, but normally he's a 40% 3-point shooter. He's a guy who loves the mid-range game, loves to get in the post. I love him so much because he could do a lot of things on the court, takes a lot of charges too on defense, and he's built for the play. He's a guy that he's built for the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's why he had so much success last year versus Philly and Indiana. So
I'm okay with Brunson at 3. I like Brunson at 3. I think what really helped is that one year when the Mavs were in the playoffs and Luka got hurt.
I think that's
he was
when
kind of able to like take it over instead of being a shadow, and then
I think that's when everyone realized, like, okay, like this guy can be a lead guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like he showcased it in that I think it was the Utah series, right?
yeah, Utah.
Yeah, he was outstanding. Like
I mean, people were like, Luka was hurt. Everyone's like, yeah,
you didn't even notice Luka was out. It's like everyone was thinking like, oh, what a loss. Like you lost Luka, now Brunson's coming and dropping 40 points for you. It's
I mean, that's what you get at Nova, though. I mean, not the new Nova. The new Nova is trash, but
old
Nova, Jay Wright Nova. I mean, that's what you got. I mean, you got championship teams and just a bunch of dogs.
Yes.
I can't say the same about that Villanova team anymore, but
yeah,
Jay Wright left and sad. I mean, they already have 3 losses, I believe, in
they didn't win a game this year, right? Or
no, Nova. I mean, they're 3-3.
Oh, they're 3-3.
But I mean, this is the first time they've had 3 losses before Thanksgiving since 2012. So it's trending down.
Yeah. All right. So we got to recap: Luka, Shea, Brunson. Now at that 4 spot. Back we got Steph, Kyrie, and I feel like De'Aaron Fox. I feel like that should be like the next
3.
The next 3 in some order.
I mean, just the way Kyle's been playing this year and last year, I feel like it's hard to not put him 4, but I think in just Curry's aspect, I mean, it's Curry.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's so hard. Steph's arguably the greatest point guard of all time. I always thought Magic was better, but I'm even starting to switch up and think Curry's better. But I think what he's doing at his age, because he's also like 36, 37.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people that say like if he was bigger, he'd be like over. Like people would put him over LeBron if he was like 6'8".
But that's the thing. If he was like 6'8", you got to think, would his shooting stay the same?
That's obviously the argument. That it's saying like if it was Steph Curry and he was just 6'8".
Oh, if he was Steph Curry 6'8", it's
that's
same
what I'm
shooting
saying.
form. Yeah, he'd be the GOAT.
You know, obviously, your shooting changing, but that like there's people that are even trying to say now like at 6'3", like he's better than LeBron just like as a scorer and stuff, but.
He's not better than LeBron as a scorer.
I didn't say that. That's what
people were saying. I'm asking you.
People were saying like
Jordan guy.
Well, we won't go into that, but
no. Listen, we won't go deep into the conversation. We can ramble off for hours on this.
That's not on today's topic list, but
but I'm just asking you, who do you think is a better scorer, LeBron or Curry?
Here's the thing. I think LeBron is more versatile. I think LeBron gets to the paint more, and he could shoot at an okay rate. He's finally starting to get that 3 ball down, but. I think just because LeBron's 6'9",
yeah,
I think he's the better overall scorer. Like I said, I mean, if Curry was his height, I think he would be a better scorer. But Curry's the better shooter. LeBron's the better finisher. So I mean, if you go apples to apples, it's like they're like kind of they're in the same boat. It's
you got to just look at the other category. It's like LeBron's obviously one of the greatest finishers of all time, but for his career, what do you think he shoot? I mean, last year he shot good from there, and this year I think he's above 40%, which is like crazy to think about.
He was at like low 30s, right? His average, or
I think he was around probably like 34, 35%. That's the thing. It's close. I still give the edge to LeBron because
I give the edge to LeBron because just of his height and his he's just able to get to the basket.
Finishing, can play in the post. Also, when he was in Miami, he also loved that mid range. He was an elite mid range shooter. It's like
not like Sean Livingston, but he was.
I guess.
I mean,
Shout out Sean Livingston.
there's been people that said Sean Livingston's never missed a mid range, but
He has though.
we've got to debunk that one.
Mikal Bridges doesn't miss mid ranges.
Mikal Bridges missed mid range. Mikal Bridges,
Dude, I think he's shooting highest in the NBA for mid range. Like, dude, I'm not even kidding. Every time he shoots in mid range, butter.
I mean, you know what they say, mid range is the same as a layup, so
It's not though.
it is.
Hey, we gotta start respecting mid. You gotta start respecting.
I respect the mid range.
I love the mid range.
I respect the mid range.
I love the mid range.
A ton. I mean, that
Mikal shoots the mid range. I respect him greatly. DeMar DeRozan.
Michael Jordan. That was his game. The mid range into the basket. Like there was no 3-point shooting like that back then.
Mid Jordan, but
Yeah, mid range Jordan. That's
no.
Some people called him that.
Remove the range, but just mid Jordan.
Yeah, I remember like people would be like, "Oh, mid range Jordan." I'm like, "Yeah, he's." But all right, let's get to number 4 on this.
Okay,
on this list.
number 4. So you think Kyrie Irving, or no? You said Steph Curry.
Well, here's the thing: if we're going solely off this year and last year,
we're going this year and last year.
I think Kyrie's numbers I think we're better. But I mean, obviously, I don't think Kyrie. I don't know. I put Kyrie at 4. It's tough. Like
It's hard.
like if there was a 4A, 4B, but I think I personally would just put Kyrie just for what's been going on the past 2 years or past year and a half.
It's so crazy to say because I think this argument has been going on for I feel like some time now. Even it's been like a sleeper argument that like Steph Curry and Kyrie are kind of like neck and neck.
They are.
But Steph Curry's greatness, I feel like everyone always puts him above Kyrie.
Here's the thing, if Kyrie won 4 or 5 championships and Curry only had one, I think that the argument would be different. I think people would say, yeah, Kyrie's better than Curry. But I think because Curry, with the team he's had, was just able to kind of win championships, Kyrie never really had that. The one time he had it with LeBron, they won, and then like LeBron left, he left, and it was just downhill slang. But, yeah, based on this,
did the Warriors make the playoffs last year? I forgot.
I think weren't they playing?
Didn't they
or
miss?
They
I think they missed it.
They just missed. I
You
know
know
they
what?
were. I know they were in the fight, and then maybe they just missed it.
I just looked at their numbers this year, and obviously Kyrie's playing better this year. And last year, the numbers were actually really close. But just because of Kyrie's off to a blazing hot start, and also he helped lead the Mavericks to the finals, we're gonna put Kyrie Irving at 4. Well, I'm gonna give him the edge for this one.
Yeah, I like that. Which would mean Curry's on.
Yeah,
number 5.
since they're neck and neck, Curry's at 5. I think that's.
You want to just do top 5? Because that took like 15.
We can do 5.
Right.
We could do 5. But if we were doing more, I think we'd have probably like De'Aaron Fox at 6, right?
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, I think LaMelo's coming up.
Oh, he's playing insane. 28 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal.
I mean, that's the LaMelo Ball that everyone knew, and before like the injuries, and then like he was just not the same. But I think he's coming back into form.
Oh
sure.
yeah, no, he's definitely balling out. I honestly didn't I thought he played good, but this is actually like insane what he's doing. But
On to the shooting guards list.
Moving on to shooting guards,
I mean,
a little bit. I look at a little bit weak.
I have a clear number 1. Obviously, it's the Ant-Man.
Yeah, I feel like right now there's no argument against it. Anthony Edwards,
He's just
28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. For majority of the Wolves playoff run last year, he played great. Towards the end, I feel like he kind of dropped off a little bit. Maybe his legs weren't under him, but
he's aura.
Yeah, and also he's also a good defender too. He has that going.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he was on Team USA. He's a dog. He's a dog.
So yeah, I feel like there's no argument against it. We're both
No.
on the same page. Anthony Edwards won.
I mean, and for 2, I don't really have much of an argument. Well, okay. I mean, I'm between 2. I'm between Book and Mitchell.
I feel like that's who it is right now.
I mean, Mitchell's definitely got the edge this year by a little bit, but I think
that's also team success though, and like Booker, KD's out, Beal's out, and they don't have much scoring option, so a lot is on his plate. So like if you're looking at like percentages, like field goal percentage, like 3-point percentage and shit like that, it's gonna be lower.
Yeah,
because he's pretty much a shot guy.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going off last year too, it's probably Booker. But again, it's close.
I just think Booker's the better player. I think Booker is too elite of a scorer, and he's become He's become actually a pretty good passer too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine putting Booker at 2.
I think Booker is better than Donovan Mitchell, even though it might be close.
But then that means I have Mitchell at 3.
Yeah. Again, I feel like that's a close one. Mitchell at 3, and now
we're,
it's so weird. It's like,
is it Jaylen Brown?
well, I'll ask you this: are we considering Paul George a shooting guard or small? I think we consider him a small forward. Right?
I've always considered him a small forward.
Yeah, because
But I mean, this shooting guard is
it drops off. It drops off. So
I mean, if we're going off this year,
there's a name I don't want you to say.
I know I'm looking at it, but
Don't say it.
I'm looking at. I mean, but honestly, if we're going off this year solely, which I know we're not, you got to put Cam Thomas in the conversation. Last year, I don't think he deserves to be on the top 5 right now, but I think if he keeps it up, I think he could make the top 5 list.
I went from not really liking Cam Thomas to actually like respecting him more, because he really is such like he's an elite scorer. He's actually an elite scorer, but the only thing is he doesn't bring anything else really to the game. I mean, he's not a good defender. He's improved passing, but I feel like I can't off of a 14-game start.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't right now.
It's too early.
I can't right now.
If he does this, like what he's doing for the rest of the season, then I think he can be in that conversation for like the 5 spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if the year finishes like he's been playing, but
I feel like there isn't much options here. I feel like you got to go Jaylen Brown. I mean, he was just Finals MVP. He's averaging 25, 6 and 4.
Yeah, his shooting splits aren't great, but I agree.
Shooting splits aren't good, but he's also a great defender too.
I agree. I don't really think there's much of an argument for anybody else right now, which leaves number 5 at a toss-up.
It really is so crazy because like, who do we put in this spot?
Because if we're going off last year and this year, I mean, Harden. There's not really many guys here that we could kind of put in this number 5 spot.
It's actually crazy.
But again, if we're going off last year too, I feel like Harden's better than most of these guys that are on this.
I mean, James Harden, that's the thing. I don't think his splits are that good, but he's also a guy who is kind of like, he has Norman Powell, who's actually been scoring the ball very well, but the splits aren't there. But overall, though, I mean,
just as
this season 20 points, last season 16. Rebounds this year is 7, assists is 9, block a game, 1.6 steals per game. I think he's been doing a lot for that Clippers team, and
he's got 10 double-doubles.
Yes. I feel like we'll put James Harden at 5, and I feel like it's might be close with Cam Thomas, but I feel like we got to give Harden the edge because Harden is doing it on the defensive end.
Right.
And he's affecting the game in a lot more ways.
For sure. I'm good with Harden at 5.
Yeah. So now
that takes us to the small forward list.
Now we got the small forwards.
There's a lot more talent, but I think there is a top 5. I think there is a top 5.
Honestly, I'm looking at the guys right now, and I think it's is it solidified? I think in some order we'll do the order, but Tatum, LeBron, who else you got in there? I just want your opinion on it.
I have DeRozan.
DeRozan?
I mean, he's not.
There's a guy I put over him.
Are you looking at Ingram?
Ingram, I feel like, is in that conversation. Is there like someone I gotta check? I mean, yeah, we can. Yeah, KD's a power forward.
Yeah, KD's a power forward.
So Tatum, LeBron. I feel like you got to put Franz Wagner in there. I'll say that. I don't know if we'll figure it out, but Franz Wagner, I feel you got to put him in there. He's having an amazing season, especially with Paolo going out. He's been nuclear.
But what do you think about Jalen Johnson then? I mean, he's averaging almost pretty much a double-double with 5 assists.
You know who I want to put in there? You know who I was thinking?
1 point.
You know who I was thinking for in the top 5?
Who?
OG and
No,
MLB.
he's not in the top 5.
Yes, he is.
He's not in the top 5.
Dude, stop.
He's
no.
not in the top 5.
Okay, list 5 players right now. List it.
Okay, Tatum.
Okay.
LeBron.
Okay.
DeRozan.
Okay.
Franz.
Okay.
And are we going off numbers?
Going off this season and last season, by the way. So just remember that.
I don't know as much as him last season.
Who's the fifth guy?
Jalen Johnson on the Hawks. I mean,
Dude, oh my gosh, that's such a bad take.
He's averaging 19 and 10 with 5. He's averaging more points, more rebounds, more assists. The same amount of steals and more blocks.
OG is the third option considering Jalen Johnson is the second option. And you got to think,
but the second option has nothing to do with rebounds and assists.
Okay, still, I mean, you got Karl Anthony Towns. He's top 3 in rebounds in the NBA. I think OG is also an elite defender. He's a lot better of a defender than Jalen Johnson is.
I mean, Jalen Johnson averages the same amount of steals and half a block more a game. And has 7 double-doubles. OG has 0.
Okay.
He has a triple-double.
Man, who can... OG would get double-doubles if he wasn't playing next to Karl Anthony Towns. And Josh Hart, for that matter, who's also averaging like 9 rebounds a game. Yes, he would. Let's start here. Number 1 right now, who do you think it is? I feel like it's Tatum.
Yeah.
Right?
I have Tatum.
Yeah, I feel like Tatum's 1.
I mean, OG, wherever he was in Toronto, all of his years.
Here's the thing.
In New York last year, he hasn't averaged more than 5.5 rebounds. So no matter who was rebounding, whoever was on the team, he doesn't rebound. He doesn't average more than 2.5 assists. Except one season, he averaged 2.6 in Toronto. So he's not a big playmaker. And this is his highest average right now at 17.4 because we're early.
You also got to look at a lot of the other options on his team. Like last year, he was playing with, like, before the.
But that's the thing. Like, if he's on all these teams and he's not good enough to be the number 1 or number 2 option, then obviously there's guys above him.
But Jalen Johnson's the number 2 option, right?
And he's averaging great numbers as the number 2 option.
And if OG, his numbers are close to Jalen Johnson, and he's the number 3 option.
I mean, not really though.
You got to think. You got to think. It's Trae Young, Jalen Johnson. For the Knicks, you can argue Jalen or Cat, and then OG, and then you also got Mikal Bridges there, and then you got Josh Hart. There's so many more options, and he's putting up good numbers, and he's been playing like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
I mean, listen, I don't know.
So who do you have? We'll come back to this. Who do you have at 2? I feel like LeBron, right? LeBron's been putting up like Magic Johnson numbers, which is crazy. I saw a tweet. Someone said LeBron regressed into prime Magic Johnson, which is kind of funny when you think about it because LeBron's putting up triple doubles. He's great passing.
The only thing I could say is that he would have been better if he regressed into prime Michael Jordan, but
he's better than Jordan. Like I said,
we'll talk about that in another episode.
We might do an episode on that.
We might do an episode on that.
We gotta have the right people. Gotta have the right people for it. We might bring 2 other people on here.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
That's the thing. I don't know if we could fit that into an hour. But we could try though.
We could definitely try. I mean, I'll come with stats and we'll get it done. And I think by the end, we'll be fine. But
also, I'd rather OG than DeRozan.
I mean, DeRozan's old. But I mean, this
OG. You got to think. I know you're looking at steals and blocks, but OG is playing like the best defensive wing in basketball. Like, seriously, he's been amazing on defense.
You know who also is really good on defense? Najee Marshall.
He is nowhere close to the conversation. He's nowhere close.
He's not in the top 5 conversation at all. He's not even in the top 10.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean...
So if we got Tatum 1, LeBron 2, 3... I feel like
DJJ.
What did you just say?
DJJ at 3.
Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah, fuck to the no. No, there's literally like no chance that he's 3.
I mean, Najee Marshall shooting 96% at the line.
Stop.
Good free throw shooter.
Yeah, how many times has he been to the line?
Well, he's averaging almost 2 a game, 2 attempts a game. So 15 times 2, it's almost 30 attempts.
I don't know. 3. This season and last season. What do we think?
Let me see some things about last season.
I mean, here's the thing. There's not... Well, how many games did Kawhi Leonard play? Because here's the thing. He hasn't played this year, but...
I mean, I think I got to go DeMar at 3 this season and last season. Last season, he averaged 24, 5 and 4, 85% at the line, 33% from 3, 48% from the field. This season, he's shooting 86% the line, 52% from the field, 40% from three.
No Kawhi Leonard. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. No, actually 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.9 blocks. Shooting 52% from the field, 41 from 3. 88 from the free throw line. He played 6. The only thing is, the problem with him is he played 68 games last year.
I mean, if we're just going based off a player aspect and not like health, I would put Kawhi at 3. But if we're gonna count health into it,
well, if we're including that now,
so let's just say
you think we agree that Tatum's right now better than Kawhi Leonard. Like even this season, last season, he's better. I feel like Tatum, LeBron, and then I guess like how big of a knack are we putting on health?
Well, I guess not at all, because if we're talking about just a player himself,
so you want to completely disclude games played in this. I'm just wondering. In this,
I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? I didn't really know. I didn't.
I mean, it looks like for the rest of the list, we just went off
just stats and stuff.
Just stats, how they played and shit. So I feel like we got to do the same for Kawhi Leonard. So I feel like if we're doing that, I feel like Kawhi Leonard at 3 is probably the right option. Even though he hasn't played this year, he's still a heck of a basketball player.
Which leaves us at 4.
4. This season, last season. What did Mr. Franz Wagner do last year? 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Didn't shoot great from 3. That's the thing. I feel like he's having such a great year this year, but I feel like I can't really put him at 4. Like, I can maybe put him at 5, depending on who we pick at 4, but I feel like...
I think DeMar's got to be 3.
Yeah, 3?
4, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say. I feel like now that we got Kawhi at 3, I like DeMar at 4.
I mean, yeah, the more I say it, the less I like it, so let's not say too much. Those of you that get that reference.
Funny.
And that leaves us at 5.
I think it's like a 2 to 4 player race.
Yeah, I mean we're between like Cam Johnson, Jeremy Grant, Jalen Johnson.
No, we're in between like Ingram, like Franz, OG, Mikal.
MPJ, or Bose, some people would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what do you think for this 5 spot?
I mean,
it's very interesting because
I was going to ask.
It's a lot of good wings.
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but Boj, he was averaging.
Now, are we talking the fake one, or like is there an NBA player we're calling this?
No, we're talking about the prodigy on the Red Storm.
Okay.
No, but honestly, I mean,
who do you got at 5?
I mean, if I was building a team right now, and they were like, all right.
For a championship. I'm asking you for a championship?
These 4 guys are off the board. Tatum, James, Kawhi, DeRozan.
But you got to explain. For a championship. Like, if they're saying, all right, these 4 wings off the board, you need a small forward, you need to win a championship this year.
And I'm building my team off these guys. Now, again, it depends what I have already.
There's a guy that I feel like if I have my answer for number 5, who I think. I just you decide right now and you let me know, but I think I have my guy for 5.
Well, I think I know who you have.
Who is it?
OG. No.
I'm gonna lean towards for the 5 spot, I'm gonna lean towards Franz because he's actually like been unbelievable this season. And even last season he was good. He was a big time player for Orlando.
I'm okay with Wagner at 5.
The thing is, Ingram this season, yeah, he's playing good, but like at the same time, last season he wasn't great. He wasn't great. Like he was still good, but not at that level. So because of Franz's him playing good last year and playing outstanding this year, I feel like we'll give him the edge at the 5.
Yeah, we could do that. All right, on to PFs.
Like some of these, like
This one, we have a top heavy.
I mean, AD's a center. I know they have him listed as a power forward. He plays
All right,
center.
so
He's played center for
if
years.
we're gonna put
So
him
just remove him completely.
All right, so then Giannis is one.
Like they even got some. Yeah, Giannis is clearly one.
I mean,
no doubt about it.
We're not even going to talk about that.
Yeah, don't even.
You know.
So that was like got some bonus here. Like what? That's so weird.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, if we're gonna go 2 now.
2 is Kevin Durant.
Oh yeah, I don't have Kevin Durant on here, but
Yeah, two is without doubt Kevin Durant.
yeah, Kevin Durant. So I mean, 2 guys top heavy, dogs. What about Cat? Is he center?
Yeah, Katz said, "Damn, what are they doing?" Oh, they have him listed at center.
So then I like J Will at 3.
Jalen Williams.
Yeah. I think he's been a dog. I mean,
Wow, he's averaging 2.2 steals this season.
I like him. I like him at 3. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Last year, what he averaged was 1.1, 1.4. What was the splits like? I feel like it's either, for me, it's between Jalen Williams or Julius Randle, right? Like you don't think there's anyone else?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I like Siakam. And he's having a great year right now. I mean, shooting 55% from the field, 46% from 3. I like him. I love Mobley. I think Mobley's a great.
There's a lot of great power forward options.
Brandon Miller's good. I mean, not good enough to be on my top 5 yet, but
yeah, Mobley's playing great to start the year. I want to see him do it for a complete year because he looks a lot different this year.
He's a defensive guy, and I mean,
he just looks. It's so hard to say because he looks like a totally different player on offense and on defense. So like, I need to see it for a full year before I could put him in the top 5. And
all right, so are we between J. Will and Randall?
J. Will, Randall, Jaren Jackson Jr. How's he done?
He's having a good year. He's having a good year for sure.
That's the thing. There's like,
I mean,
I feel like there's like 4 guys that you can put in these final 3 spots. Don't you think? Jaren, Julius, Jalen, Siakam.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would go J. Will, Jaren Jackson, then Randall.
J. Will,
Jackson,
Randall.
Randall.
And Randall.
I think Randall's the worst defensively, and they're all pretty much the same on offense right now.
It's definitely we can put Jalen Williams
J. Will at 3.
at 3. Career 39% from 3. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Career, 19 points per game last year, 21 this year. He's been great. He's even starting at center for the Thunder right now, which is as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
Because they're missing both centers, but hey, he's doing his thing. So, J. Will 3. 4.
I don't know. I like Jaren Jackson. I mean, Jaren Jackson's played.
Didn't he barely play last year? But also, you can say the same thing about Randall. Randall barely played last year.
And I mean, this season, Jaren Jackson's played 5 less minutes a game, and he's averaging almost 2 more points. So, I mean, in less time, he's putting up.
What's his 3-point percentage?
35. Where Randall's is 38. But Jaren Jackson's shooting 52 from the field. Randall's only shooting 50. So.
Damn, Jaren's averaging almost 23 points.
And he's averaging 3.1 stocks a game. Where Randall's averaging 0.7.
I think we should put Jaren above Julius because I feel like having a guy at 6'11", that's such a versatile defender.
Of course.
So yeah, well, we got Jaren at 4.
And Randall at 5. Which takes us now to what some people would say our most anticipated list.
Oh yeah.
The big mans. The centers.
Number 1, you can already put it down.
Yeah. I don't really think there's a question about this.
It's Karl-Anthony Towns. That's a joke, by the way. Put down Jokic.
I put down Wemby for 1.
That's gonna be interesting.
That's interesting. I mean,
I wouldn't put him in the top 5. I don't know about you.
Well, I have Jokic at 1. I think, again, just like Giannis, there's not really a question there. Now we go to 2, and I think it's a two-man race.
I think it's Embiid. Right? Whoa, okay, so...
Yeah, I think we're in a two-man race. I think we're between Nas Reed and Gafford.
Hey, Nas Reed. Don't sleep on Big Nas. That dude's a beast.
But I think I got to go AD too.
AD, you finally came around on him.
Well, I didn't come
Who
around
knew?
on him. I didn't come around on him. I just know. I mean, listen, when I want
Considering this
when I want him
season-
on the Mavs, not really. But I put him at
That's
2.
a load of bullshit. If
Gafford-
you had Luka, Kyrie, and AD, they are easily winning the championship. And honestly, I forgot. My mind blanked for a sec. I forgot how good AD's playing. He's playing like he's the MVP this year. Lakers are, I think, 10-4 now.
Not shooting as good as Gafford. But
Stop comparing him to Daniel fucking Gafford.
Daniel Gafford's shooting 71% from the
Please
field.
stop comparing him to
71% from the field.
Dude, stop.
71% from the field. I'm just going to leave that there.
Stop.
I'm going to leave that there.
Stop with Daniel Gafford.
But
so
Davis, I have at 2. I have
AD at 2. Give him the edge.
Yeah, I'll give him a
3.
little edge, which means I got to have Gafford at 3 if I'm giving him...
Enough. Listen, stop. If we're throwing Gafford in there, we're throwing Jericho Sims in there because he's one of the...
Sims doesn't play. Sims doesn't play. And he's the backup.
What? Yeah, he's playing.
backup.
He's playing.
All right,
Look at his defensive rating, by the way.
We'll go
Respect him.
We'll go Cat at 3. Again, I don't really think we're in a debate here.
So hold on, I'm not gonna argue. I love Cat, but you think Cat this season, last season is better than Embiid? I'm not gonna argue. I love Cat. I think he's an amazing basketball player.
I mean, I don't know. Embiid is hard.
The thing about Embiid is like his play style is predicated on. Don't you agree his game is kind of predicated on free throws?
Well, I feel like everybody's is now. I mean,
But
that's
dude,
the
like-
NBA.
like, okay, but
Unfortunately, I don't
No,
like that at all.
I get that, but like his is like a lot.
I mean, they just call more, like they give him more calls.
Like I'm saying, even
which is nothing on him. I mean,
even in the playoffs, there was some games, or even this season, where if he's not getting through the free throw line, his entire game looks different. It's so weird to say, but it's so true.
yeah. I mean,
What do you?
last season he averaged 34 and 11,
How many games did he play?
39.
How many games? And then Cat last season, what was his numbers like? Let me see.
I mean, yeah. Again, like I know we're not talking about games played, so
No, I know we're not, but
put-
I'm just saying because
I'd
for
put-
this time, I'm saying like it says Embiid averaged 34 points, but it wasn't for it was for not even half the
it
season.
was 34 and 11 with 6 assists, which
Yeah,
is good.
that's what I'm saying. That's like the only time I feel like we can look at games played because it's like that's flawed when you look at those numbers. And Cat last year made the All-Star game. He averaged 22, 8, and 3. What do you shoot? 41% from 3, 50% from the field. Games played. He played 62.
So with Cat at 3, that puts Embiid at 4, which is with number 5. And I mean,
I feel like there's like
I only have one guy left on my list. I mean that I'd put in the spot. I don't know.
who's that?
I don't know how many you have right now. That
Jay Huff.
No, he wasn't in my top 5. Unfortunately,
Big Huff?
He didn't crack that yet.
Nah,
but
Big Huff, man. He's a dog.
I have one guy left, and
Who's that?
it's Wemby. I mean,
Wemby over Bam.
yeah. I
Serious?
mean, Wemby just this season alone is averaging 5 stocks a game, and then averaging 22 and 11 with 3
Dude,
assists.
5 stocks. That's insane. Like that's actually insane.
I mean, 5 stocks, 10 rebounds, 10 and a half rebounds.
You're shooting 34% from 3. I mean, if
It's
you,
on the
if
lower
you-
side. It's definitely on the lower side,
Still,
but,
but like-
over Bam.
If you told someone 10 years ago, yeah, there's gonna be this dude in the NBA.
7-4.
He can. I know he shoots a lot of threes, so like it's a little bit low, but like yeah, he's gonna be shooting 34% from 3, averaging 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 stocks. No one will believe you. They'd be like, all right, who is this guy?
Yeah. So
Because that's actually unfair.
that puts Wemby at 5. I mean, you just
I think because Bam's coming around on the 3-pointers more, and he's playing okay this season. Not so great, but Victor is just been insane. I think the other night, he had a game where I think he hit like 8 or 9 threes.
Yeah, he had I think 8 threes or 9 threes. It was like the most by somebody that tall.
Also, you got to think Victor can he has like a good ball handle. Like how many 7'5" guys do you know?
Well, how many centers do you know that can really dribble? Not many. Like him, like a guard, not many.
I'm just looking off this list. How many guys can actually dribble?
Not like in the post
I'm saying have a ball handle.
Like where they
can
can be
handle the
1-on-1
ball.
at the top.
I feel like I'm just going down this list right now. Not Jokic. AD can, Cat can, Embiid can. We got Victor, obviously. Is there anyone else that could really do that?
That's really it. That's really the end of that list. Very short list. And he's doing it at 7'4", and he's the most athletic out of all of them.
Did you just say Victor's the most athletic?
Yeah, out of all of them. Dude, no one can run and jump like he can. I mean,
He's also 7'5".
that's what I'm saying. That his athleticism for 7'4" is unbelievable. He's like Will Chamberlain.
Well, true, but at the same time, look how skinny he is. He's such a skinny guy.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. That actually helps his athleticism, which makes him.
Might sound stupid, but how did he go about that? Like, you think he was just like that tall, but he was just never big boned? Like,
Well,
you think on purpose he just didn't want to gain weight? It's like
harder when you're that tall to gain weight because you're like when you eat, like it goes through like that builds muscle, but when there's so much.
But I'm saying obviously there's like a 3-4 inch height difference between like a Jokic or an Embiid or something like that. But how do you not? But
there's some genetics. There's some genetics.
I was gonna say, is it just like? I just think he just never had that build.
No,
Because guys like Embiid, Jokic, even like Cat or AD, they're like have like not obviously they have muscles, but like they have like they're built guys. So I guess that's incredible.
Look at Giannis. That guy was a twig coming into the league.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of it's
You think Victor can ever get there? Could ever get there?
I mean, I think he could if he really tried. I think it's gonna be hard for him, but if he really wanted to and put in the work, I think he could for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, honestly,
it's a good list.
I think that's a pretty good list. I think we agree with most of the stuff. I respect you putting Cat at 3. Thank you.
For sure.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
But
well, I don't know. Well, let's think of it like this, right? Now, everyone, we're running out of time.
Well, why don't we give the rundown then? We have like 15, 20 minutes left. Why don't we talk the past week? Basketball, football.
Oh, we can. We could
save that for the next episode or something like that.
By the way, Jose Siri is the best defensive center fielder.
No one's arguing that, but he's not even in like top 15 center fielders.
Oh, okay. So you're not arguing it.
I'm not arguing defensively.
There was like I saw there was like this Twitter account that was like MLB trade calculator. It's obviously first time I saw it, but supposedly they calculate every MLB trade. And they said that like Mets underpaid. Like Mets gave up very little to get back who they got.
Well, yeah, because you're talking about one of the best defensive guys, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of good defensive guys that can hit and like.
True, I'm not saying Siri's the GOAT, but I'm saying he's an excellent defensive player.
Right. Unfortunately for baseball, like the outfielder position, like is an easy position to be good at. So it's like.
I don't know. Juan Soto is not that great defensively.
I mean, there's guys better defensively, but he's fine defensively.
He's like average.
Like here's the thing, like with baseball is like in the outfield, like can you track a ball and how's your arm strength? That's pretty much it.
And speed. Speed's definitely important.
Speed helps. Times. Speed helps for sure. For sure. I mean, the faster you are, the better. But I mean, it's really can you track a ball and how big's your arm strength? So, like guys like Judge, like he's not quick, and obviously he had that blunder in Game 5, but He makes pretty much all of his plays. Like, he tracks the ball well. He's got a great arm. So it's like, that's really all you need. Like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, the MLB's kind of quiet.
I mean, I think
Right now, I'm saying in the offseason.
yeah. I think like if we're gonna talk about like difficulty, like I think outfield or MLB is one of the easiest positions in all sports. Not the infield. The infield's extremely tough, but I think outfield in baseball is one of the easiest positions in all sports, just because like
The fact that this is like the conversation, I know free agency just started in the MLB like over like just about 2.5 weeks ago, but the fact that this is the conversation we're having, like that's like the top MLB news. Jose Siri to the Mets.
Yeah, it's early.
This, like I said, this is the first off season I'm actually like focusing on baseball, so I'm not used to this. When do guys like?
Well, everyone's talking to Soto.
I guess like I see like Soto's meeting with like some teams. Like, why does he meet with certain teams though? Like,
just to kind of see like what do they think. Like even if he has no intention of going there.
Like, yeah, because I know, like, there's no way he goes to the Dodgers. There's no way he goes... I don't see him going to the Phillies. Their payroll's insane this year. Like,
I mean, I see a lot, like, some teams in the Northeast. Mets, Yankees, Blue Jays, stuff like that, like, to just stay in the Northeast.
when do you, like... I'll ask you this, because I see a lot of differing opinions on this. When do you think a guy like Soto signs?
I honestly think he tries and waits it out and just, like, until he gets the best contract.
Because here's the
thing.
Like,
he might even get a contract from the best contract from the Yankees and try and, like, use them against them.
That's...
So, like,
that's what I think most likely will happen.
It could
I
be
think it's
a while before he signs.
But that's the thing. Like, I know guys like the Mets and Yankees don't wait, but, like, he has also spoken to other teams. And, like, it seems like, obviously... It's not like the NBA or the NFL where moves happen quickly in free agency, but like at a certain point in time, other teams are going to be like, all right, like we got to get a move on. Like,
well, yeah,
it almost reminds me of it wasn't a signing, it was more so a trade. But like 2 years ago when Kevin Durant requested a trade to Brooklyn, free agency started, and for like a month everything was so quiet, and then teams said like we can't wait, and they started to make moves.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I feel like Soto can wait, but I feel like at a certain point you just gotta like take a deal.
Yeah,
you can't wait forever.
No, I mean he can though, because like people are like he's one of the
obviously if he wants to we can, but I'm just saying like I think like if he talks to ownership, so like the Mets or Yankees are gonna talk to Boris how do you say his name?
Who?
Scott Boras, right?
Probably Boris, yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna say like, listen, like we got to make other moves, and they probably will make other moves, and then after that, whenever they're gonna just have to come to a decision.
Yeah, so I mean, he doesn't have all the time in the world, but
yeah,
he's definitely got some time.
So yeah, nothing really happening in the MLB. Everyone's just waiting on Soto. Then you got football going on. My Giants had a bye week. Cowboys, what happened there?
They had a great week. They had a great week.
What was the score again?
34-10.
Dude, what happened to your defense?
It's not really the defense. I mean, Cooper Rush can't get the ball down the field, it's just constantly defensive. Who
do you guys play again? Texans?
Yeah. I mean, I had the Stars on, so I didn't watch the game at all, but the Stars game ended, and I was like, you know what? I'll turn on the Cowboys game. Cowboys have the ball down 20-10. Cooper Rush first throw, a dot to CeeDee Lamb. Like, one-on-one. I was like, all right, I like that. Do it again.
I think we're actually going to beat you this year. And obviously...
No.
Yeah, we will.
No.
I genuinely think we'll beat you this year.
It just doesn't... I mean, you did actually beat Cooper Rush a couple years ago, whenever, 21.
This is like the first time in like a long time. Actually, this past, what was it, Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football with the Giants-Cowboys? Was it Sunday night?
No, Sunday night.
I thought we had a pretty fair shot, but this time I feel like we're gonna win. If everyone plays, we should win.
I don't know. Your offense is shaky with whoever you have at quarterback.
Cutlets. We got Tommy DeVito back.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
But yeah,
that'll be an interesting game on Thanksgiving.
That will be. I don't know if I'd rather it have been the night game.
No, not at this point. Not at this point.
They should have.
I mean, that's just a.
That would have been so funny if that was a night game. No one's watching that.
No one's watching that.
Except if you're a Giants or Cowboys fan, you're watching it. But like other fan bases, they're not even turning on.
Like at least this game,
Tommy DeVito, Cooper Rush.
It'll be on in the background. People will have it just tossed on like some football. But I mean, I'll probably have it on.
Oh, I'm still gonna be locked in.
I'll have it on. because there's not really, I don't think, anything else going on Thanksgiving, like sports-wise, but
Yeah. So yeah, Giants didn't play. Cowboys, they lost. They're definitely missing Dak. Jets, on the other hand, fired Joe Douglas, which, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Without that 2022 draft class, he was pretty shit. He was horrendous.
yeah, I mean, not good in the metropolitan area, really,
They just got to rebuild.
for
Like-
any sports.
What happened?
I said for most sports right now, like metropolitan area is not looking good.
I don't know about that. Football wise, yeah.
Football-wise, no.
What do you mean?
Like, yeah, like it's not.
Yeah.
Like it, I mean,
Baseball's looking good. Basketball,
baseball's all right, depending on where Juan Soto goes.
I mean, he's either going to the Yankees or the Mets.
If he leaves the Yankees, the Yankees are going to be eh. If he doesn't go to the Mets, Mets will be eh.
I mean, either way. Like, I'm just saying, if Soto goes back to the Yankees, Mets are going to make more moves with that money, and if Soto goes to the Mets, the Yankees are going to make moves with that money. So
It
I feel
just
like
depends
either
what
way.
moves they make. So they're both on like.
But
the
still,
fringe.
but still, I feel like they're in a pretty good spot considering also. Obviously, I know you guys lost in the World Series. Mets lost in 6 to the Dodgers, but like still, they had good seasons. So I feel like right now, obviously, you're waiting to see what moves both teams do in the offseason. But I feel like overall, baseball's in a pretty good spot for both teams.
It depends.
I think so.
It depends.
I think so.
I mean, whoever gets Juan Soto is in a good spot. But whoever doesn't get Juan Soto, they're not. I mean, again, depending on what moves they make with the remaining cash, I mean, the Mets, like, again, like on paper, were just not good. And they got hot at the right time, which was huge. And
I mean,
that's all you need is to get hot at the right time. But I
mean, like, again, I feel like you have Lindor, you have Vientos. If you bring back a lot, I'm just saying. Let's say you sign Soto. Then,
well, yeah, I mean, if you get Soto, you're in a great spot.
I'm just saying,
in a
if
great
you
spot.
get Soto, then you'll have Soto, Lindor, Vientos, and you can maybe bring back Alonso, and then you really
Just leave it at those top three. Don't
respect Alonso, please.
Don't.
Listen, I know you stare at batting average at all times.
I don't. I stare at the player.
You do.
He had a big error in the Brewers game.
In the Brewers game.
Like it was like a pop up to the like foul territory by the
He
fence.
also hit the go-ahead home run.
But again, like you can't just look at one play. You gotta look
I think that one play won them the game. Obviously, he messed up earlier.
But what did he do the rest?
Listen, I was actually talking about this with Andrew last week when he was here, and we both agreed that Alonso's a good player, and he isn't as consistent as you'd want him to be, but what we thought was good about him still is he still has big play potential. Like last year, he had I think more than 35 home runs. It's like,
I mean, yeah, he's at this point just turning into a Giancarlo Stanton, which is like a home run or nothing. And
his Alonso's projected contract. I know he's making 20 mil this past year. I think they have projected at 21 mil. So it's like about the same thing.
yeah, I personally like if I was in, I would never pay him that much.
I would,
Never
depending
pay him that
depending on years. I would.
Just for what he's been doing recently, it's just.
I mean, I'll ask you this. What do you think is better? Like paying Alonso like a shorter deal, like let's say like 3 years. Would you give him like 3 years? I'm just saying, 3 years like 90. Short.
You're out of your mind.
I'm saying,
You're out
I'm
of your
saying,
mind.
okay, 90,
You're out of your mind.
90
I'll take
90
whoever-
would have been a lot. 90 would have been a lot. Or I'm saying, I was just throwing out a number. Or would you rather a longer term deal at like 22 million? Like
Neither. I'm taking my chance
you
with
really
my
hate
farm
Alonso.
system. I don't hate Alonso.
You do.
I don't hate Alonso. I'm
You
not paying
do.
him that much money. I told you. We spoke about this one episode. I'll pay him 11 mil, 12 mil. Max.
I think that's pretty low for a guy. Again, his batting average not consistent, but for a guy who's a pretty solid first baseman and put up 35 home runs, I think 11 million is cheap.
Okay. Then you pay him more. But I personally, I'd rather do my farm system or pay somebody else.
All right. We'll have to say that for another episode. But for now, like we were saying, I think baseball's in a good spot. I think football's in a bad
Baseball,
spot.
I don't want to say is a good spot yet. It could
But
be.
I'm just
It
saying.
could be.
I'm just saying. Considering last season, and obviously it's early because the MLB offseason just started. I'm saying going off of last year, I feel like it's in a good spot.
Okay. I mean,
that's we're two
personally-
games away from the World Series. Yankees made the World Series. I mean, that's pretty good considering when you look at some of the other teams, how their seasons went.
Yeah, but again, if you look at the full roster, like the Yankees' bottom half of the lineup was trash. The starting rotation, other than Cole, kind of got lit up.
But again, I know you're looking at it like deep into it.
You got to look at the team. It's a team game, so the
I
bottom
know
of
it's
the lineup
a
is trash.
team game, but that team made the World Series, and the Mets team,
But everybody
they were two
knows.
games
Everybody
out.
knows, and even as a Yankees fan, like they didn't have a tough run. I mean, they played the Royals, who
Yeah, not gonna lie, your run was pretty shitty. I can't even lie.
Right.
Like your run was pretty easy.
Yeah, so I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I don't love
Mets had a tough run. I know they
and
lost
that's
to
and,
the Dodgers,
and
but
they got hot at the right time, which is what I'm saying. But
I
overall,
know
as a team, they weren't better than most of those teams in the playoffs. They just got very hot, which again, when it
they
comes
got
down
that
to
clutch.
playoffs,
They got that clutch factor.
is what matters. The hot at the right time. But when you have to play another 162 game season, I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs, depending on what moves they make. But I don't love the Yankees'
just-
chances right now.
Listen, we just got to skip over baseball because it's so early.
It's
Like,
early,
we
so
can't
I'm
even.
going to leave it as I'm shaky. Baseball, I'm shaky, depending on the moves.
Just gotta wait and see because like realistically, by like moves can go on from now to December to even like January, and even like I feel like some teams are still making moves in early February. Like moves can go on for months, and this shit just started. So like baseball, wait and see.
Baseball's shaky. early.
Basketball, I feel like we're in a good spot. I mean, Knicks have a good roster. Nets are being actually very competitive. Like I know I think they're 6-9, but like
Yeah.
a lot of their losses they were close. Like they're a very competitive team. So I think basketball's looking good.
Basketball's all right.
Football's looking bad. Hockey's actually looking really good.
For the Rangers, looking good.
What are the Devils' record?
Devils have been good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't. The Islanders are all right. I think hockey.
Islanders isn't.
I think hockey is definitely the best. New York right now, like that's where like every team around in the metropolitan.
Hey, no. Westchester Knicks. We're not doing that. T.J. Warren, he's KD down there.
Yeah, T.J. Warren. He couldn't even say on the Pacers.
Guys got to move on. He's a bucket.
But yeah, so Metropolitan's all right. We're looking all right, but I will say though, the college basketball season, the Metropolitan's looking real good.
Oh my goodness! Stop with
good.
college basketball.
I mean, you could say stop all you want. I mean, most people know that atmosphere is just something you can't.
Everyone knows the atmosphere is like terrible.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone knows that Duke and Kentucky and Kansas, like they have their.
Well, it depends who you're watching.
Sucks.
Like college basketball, it's like
Yeah,
College
obviously.
football is like college football's legit. College football's better than college basketball. Yes.
No, you could poll the audience, poll whoever you want. People.
You know, I might poll that on my main account, just to see.
I mean, look at it from this aspect, okay?
I think college football will win.
You might have more people that think college football is better, but if you look at it from this aspect right here, right? How many times does a ranked team lose to unranked in football? Not often. Very, very rare. That's why when it happens, it's like it's shocking.
Okay.
In basketball, it happens every night, almost every night, a couple times a week. I mean, anybody can beat anybody. But like these teams, like when the college football playoffs was 4 teams, you got the same 6 teams: Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, LSU was in there for a while. Florida, like you get the same 6 teams. Like you're watching the same teams every year be at the top of the list. Basketball, you're getting new teams every year win the championship. Obviously, you come back to back, but every year it's a different team in the Final Four. It's a different team. Like you're getting teams, Cinderella stories. Like you're getting all this stuff. Like there's nothing with that in football. It's the same 4 teams, same 5, 6 teams that are running the league. It's just if you love those top 6, 7 teams, it's got to be amazing. You're watching your team in the finals every year. But for basketball, I mean, every year, like it's just different.
I don't know. I feel like outside of those top 6 or 7 teams, there is a lot more teams that are like fun to watch.
Look at it like this, right? Rutgers is 6-4.
Okay.
They went 6-6 last year. So if you win 6 games, you get a bowl game. Mm-hmm. You play 12 games a year. So pretty much college football, because there's so many bad teams.
Do Rutgers have a bowl game this year?
Yeah, now they're 6-4. But you go 6-6, 7-5, you get a bowl game. That's pretty much saying like, yeah, you guys were average, you're all right, but you know, we'll give you a bowl game. Like that, like come on. For going 6-6, you get to play in a
Teach its own. If you told me, depends who I'm watching in college basketball, but I would rather watch college football.
I mean, listen, what you'd rather
Like I
watch
said-
is your preference, but I mean, look at it like this: there's March Madness for a reason. Everybody knows March Madness.
Oh,
Everybody
when it
tunes into
comes
March
to
Madness.
okay, when it comes to like March Madness, I can turn on any of those games.
Well,
and
that's what I'm
watch it.
saying though. Like basketball, like the atmosphere and just the ability that any team can beat any team, just outrules football.
But in
immediately.
college football playoffs, it's competitive too. Like don't
'cause-
knock that.
Well, college football players, for the most part, because now we're in a 12 team, but it's been 4 teams. It's been the top 4 teams, so obviously it's competitive. But it's 4 teams, so like nobody. I mean, you're playing the top 4 teams in the country.
It's hard. Listen. It's hard to compare.
There's no
They're-
playoff atmosphere because you're playing 4. There's 4 teams. You play 2 games.
Listen, it really is hard to compare because both are different from one another. You know that. I know that.
I mean, I went to Rutgers football games and Rutgers basketball games. I mean, when Rutgers football played nobody, the crowd was eh.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was all right, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, they're playing nobody, and it's sold out because obviously with
Rutgers?
with Ace Bailey and Harbor. But the 2 games I went to, even against Monmouth, I mean, if not sold out, 90% capacity.
That's because Rutgers is also a big sports school.
Yeah, but
You gotta think of it like that.
that's
Like,
what-
even without them. But I get what you're saying.
But I'm saying like the basketball was outruling football just in non-conference games because that's just what it comes down to. I mean, again, you're gonna have people that just love college football regardless, and they'll say it's better than basketball, and vice versa. But just from like being at both games and just like looking at the overall atmosphere and the landscape, it's really not even close.
Yeah, like I said, I think overall it's like teach its own really, because I feel like I get more enjoyment watching like quarterbacks play, like watching like Shadur or Milroe, or even last year I barely watched college sports and I was turning on UNC games to watch Drake May play a few times. Like,
Well, and that's always because you're looking at guys for the Giants and stuff like that. But
I think that's what it might be. I think I get more enjoyment because I'm watching guys for the draft. Like even in 22, I was paying attention to guys like Jordan Addison or like
Right.
What's his name, Banks, and like stuff like that. So I think I enjoyed the draft more for NFL, which is what makes me more interested.
right, the
in
draft
college
is definitely
football.
better in the NHL, the NFL than NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always said this: the NCAA is better than the NBA for basketball, but the NFL is better than college football.
I disagree. There is no Karl Anthony Towns in college basketball.
There was.
There was.
I mean,
but where's he now? Where's he now?
You have to get
NBA.
somewhere, right?
You could just retire after that.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
I mean,
I'm not wrong.
do you know Christian Laettner?
I do know Christian Laettner, college legend.
Bingo. All these guys, for the most part, had something in college that you know them for, whether they were on a dominant team, whether they were dominant themselves. Like, look how many guys were dominant in college and then are nothing in the NBA. Trash. Don't even make the NBA. Like, there's no stories in the NBA. There's always, like, Golke, Oakland. Single-handedly took down Kentucky. Everyone knows him. He's a legend now. Everyone, like, there's nothing like that in the NBA.
There is.
What?
What
What bum single-handedly took down an NBA team? It doesn't happen.
Are we talking about like playoffs or like?
Sure.
He's like, do you remember Corey Brewer? Don't forget when Corey Brewer dropped 50.
Listen, there's no disrespect towards Corey Brewer at all. Well, and you know what though? Like even like just a single game is better than a best of 7. Like because
single game is better than
everything's on the line. You have one. It's like game 7.
I think that's why a lot of people prefer like I'm just saying NFL playoffs over NBA playoffs.
Well, for sure, 100%.
Because like you look at some of these
You get one game.
series in like the NBA and stuff, and there's like maybe like let's say if it goes to 7, maybe like 3 or 4 of them, maybe like 3 of them are like blowouts. So it's not fun.
Think of it like this, right? NCAA, Oakland beat Kentucky because Golke had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
If they played a best of 7, that would have been a 4-1 series.
Yeah.
So what's good about the one game is you never know. Like all it takes is one game.
All it takes is one game,
one bad game,
one play,
one great. Like that's it. So I just think like
I do think that's definitely more. I think that's one games are more interesting, obviously, than a series more. It's more fun.
Right. The best of 7 is better because it's like if you're the better team, you win. Like,
yeah.
You know, like the better team should be winning the series. But the best, like the one game, it's like, listen, like if you're the better team, you got to play like the better team this game. And if you don't, you're going to lose. So I like it from that aspect. But
yeah,
it's just some food for thought.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Should have a fun episode coming. But thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to follow the socials, subscribe to YouTube, and we'll see you all next time, Bri. Thanks for coming on, man.
Of course, thank you for having me.